Hello and welcome to the third installment of Midnight Cowteen. Today I will talk about Zozo and Star Trek Into Darkness. Zozo is about this young boy named Zozo who is gonna go with his family to Sweden, but since their town is bombed and his family dies, he has to get there all by himself. I actually rewatched this movie because I had already seen it some other time ago, and I can tell you that it's just as fantastic the second time around. I mean, this movie really touched me. I mean, you see this poor young boy, and throughout the entire movie he just has to fight and fight and fight for the right to live a decent life, and it's so depressing. Just sit very sad, hoping that in some way will finally reach some happiness in his life. And Joseph Fares does a wonderful job telling this story through visual images, and thanks of course to the actors. I don't remember who is the guy named Zozo, but he was absolutely amazing. He's probably one of the best child actors I've ever seen. And Joseph Fares himself, Fares actually appears in the movie as talking chicken. He's pretty amusing for the small screen time he has. Most of the other actors, for example, the girl who plays Zozo's love interest and he who plays his grandfather, they were great as well. I especially liked who played Zozo's grandfather. He was very funny, but at the same time the actor managed to bring out a serious performance as well. It's not really as easy for me to talk about and I think it's great, but overall I highly recommend this one. I can guarantee you that when you will see it, you will be completely blown away. Out of Joseph Fares' movies, I would say that this is my favorite. Most of the other movies are comedies, and they are very funny, but this drama that he made, it made me so enthralled. So, unquestionably, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 10 out of 10. And now Star Trek Into Darkness. But before I tell you what to think about the movie, I'm gonna reveal some history. I started watching Star Trek pretty recently. I mean, I had heard about it for years and years, but despite being a huge fan of science fiction, I never really felt a high urge to watch it. It just, seemed way too cheesy. But since a friend of mine invited me to a Star Trek convention, I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll watch the show before I go there. To be sure if I think it's good enough to attend a convention for you. And the original series, at least, it's pretty great. There is some surprisingly intelligent writing, and the acting was great as well. As for the other series, I had only seen one episode of The Next Generation before I went there. So anyway, they showed episodes from different versions and J.J. Abrams' movie Into Darkness. This was oddly enough the first Star Trek movie I had seen, and still is. So going into it, I was gonna have to judge a movie by its own merits, but also on how it compared to the original series, since the characters from there were portrayed by different actors. Anyway, let's get to the movie itself. It's not very good. This movie got a lot of praise when it came out, but then it also received a lot of criticism, and I can absolutely see why. This story, it's alright. I mean, you can definitely make something out of it, but it also depends on the execution. And this just feels like a big bloated action movie, which is not really what Star Trek is, you know. Most of the movie I just found myself really bored because you know, pow 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 may seem exciting at first, but when you get too much of it, I mean really overfeeded, you just start falling asleep to it after a while. But my biggest problem in this movie was Chris Pine, who played Kirk. He was so wooden in this role that it was just unbelievable. I know William Shatner is yeah, he's now 85 years old, but could we have gotten at least someone who was a little better than him? He had none of the charisma of Shatner and none of the funny varied expressions. How his character was written, it wasn't, you know, awful, but thanks to how stiff this guy portrayed the role, it didn't work. I mean, all the time, instead of acting cocky and sure, he just acted like a scared little rabbit all the time. Okay, I am hello, my name is Kirk, and I am the captain of his ship. He wasn't literally acting all that nervous, but because of Pine's wooden acting, I didn't get the sense of the confident and determined Kirk that we know and love. So yeah, Zachary Quinto, looking wise, the makeup department did a pretty damn good job of him. It almost felt like watching Nemo sometimes. But his acting was just okay. I mean, it worked, you know. But it wasn't anywhere near great. I mean, sometimes I just with some of his line delivery, I thought, okay, that didn't quite sound right. Yeah, he just didn't impress me. The only guy who actually did a real good job was the guy playing Scotty. He almost actually felt like the original character, so props to you, actually. Props to you. And the way his character was written was also very much like Scotty, how he talked, how he behaved. He was the most accurate take. The music just, you know, just like with the Jurassic World, instead of having a great theme consistent throughout the entire movie, we just have a classic theme and then have the rest be, you know, mediocre blockbuster music, which is a shame. Yeah, to be honest, this movie was kind of a drag. I mean, it had some nice scenes there, which almost made me want to rate it higher, but because it didn't work as a whole, I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10. So, hope you enjoyed this episode of Midnight Cowteen, and see you next time, bromios! Okay, that was stupid as shit. Whatever.